This regular meeting of the Mobile County Commission is now called to order. If you would please stand for the invocation. It will be given today by Pastor Ernest Gwynn at the Church of Glory on Lott Road, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you this morning for being who you are in our lives, and we thank you for the opportunity to come before you in this time of prayer. Father, I pray that you would lead our list today, Commissioner Connie Hudson and President Commissioner Jerry Carl and Commissioner Mercia Ludgood, with wisdom, with insight, with understanding as they lead and guide in these times for our county. And we thank you that our county will begin to and continue to increase and grow as we bring solutions to problems, as we bring insight and ideas, and most of all, as we work together in a spirit of unity, that it will glorify your name. And we give you all the honor, the glory, and the praise in Christ Jesus' name. Let everyone say amen. Amen.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Pastor Gwynn. We appreciate your being here today. Do we have anyone signed to speak?
Yes, ma'am. We have 4 speakers, 2 on the boat ramp, and 1 with Buffalo Soldiers, and 1, Mrs. Goudreau on the dirt road situation. I'd like to call the boat ramp speakers first. Mrs. Chipola.
When you come to the podium, if you would please give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. Elizabeth Chipolich, 4281 Blue Road, Theodore.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all?
Did you have some comments this morning?
Yes, I wanted to talk with the commissioners about the proposed boat launch at Fowl River. I have owned property and on Fowl River for over 22 years, and our families have spent the summers there, and my husband and I are currently building our retirement home on Fowl River. I have some concerns about the boat launch. First of all, the safety to the public. I have some handouts I would like to give the commissioners, some diagrams that will show you some of the areas of concern with that boat launch, please. There's 1 copy, 2, 3. So first of all, in terms of the danger to the public, there is a photograph of the bridge that's on Fowl River Road. I cross this bridge several times a week and have done so for over a decade. That bridge is, goodness, maybe 20 yards from Memories. Memories is the fish camp that the county is proposing purchasing. It's currently just a gravel shell boat launch that accommodates really only small boats. That bridge has a curve that comes up to it, and it's almost a hidden bridge. And on both sides of the bridge, the county has hazard caution signs with a solar panel and blinking lights, simply because, you know, people come through there, they don't know the bridge is there, and the bridge is super narrow. There'd be no way that a bicyclist and 2 cars would pass on that bridge. So that is so close to where the driveway of the fish camp is that there are often, I've seen accidents there. I don't know, I tried to do the research, but I would not be surprised if there have been fatalities there. So that's a big issue. The second issue to safety is boating. If you will look at the diagrams I gave you, this from the Google map, the red circle will show you how narrow the area of the river is where the proposed boat launch is. It is extremely narrow. I would say no more than 25 feet. Now, when I talked to Representative Carl's secretary, she confirmed for me that this boat launch will accommodate not only kayaks and canoes, but also motorized boats. So if you'll look to the next picture I have, it's a little boy. Also, these pictures were printed off of the Memories Fish Camp Facebook. This is a picture looking from the boat launch across the creek. You can see how narrow it is. The river winds there, and there are no bulkheads. And I have been in it many times where I've seen when a motorboat coming through at no wake speed, and it's posted no wake, but just because a boat, it's posted no wake, a boat is idling, it still kicks up a wake. And I've seen kayaks and canoes almost turned over. I have seen further down the road kayaks and canoes flipped over many a time. Also, again, this picture will demonstrate to you how narrow the bridge is. It also was printed off of Memory's Facebook page. So when you get further out into Fowl River, there are a lot of residences on that river, and a lot of that property is bulkheaded, meaning there's what most people call a seawall. Let me tell you, on Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to dark, Fowl River, I can compare it to Airport Boulevard at 5 o'clock. You have water skiers, kayakers, jet skis, fishermen, and they're all zooming by and knocking over kayaks. But the big issue for me is these areas are bulkheaded, and there is no way for the wake to smooth out, and it simply bounces off of these bulkheads. It's like the waves are unbelievable, and it is extremely dangerous.
Ma'am, I'd like to remind you you've about reached your 5 minutes if you'd like
Yes.
to wrap up. Thank you.
So just to summarize, about 10 years ago, on a Saturday afternoon, a little boy was run over in the area. His spinal cord was severed, and he's in a wheelchair today. The amount of boat traffic on Fowl River, we just can't safely accommodate any more motorized boats. I do not have a problem with kayaks and canoes, but to put motorized boats into that area is not a wise decision. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Chiplich.
Could I get you to spell your last name for me?
C-H-I-E, P as in Paul, A-L-I-C-H.
Okay, and we're going to discuss this a little later.
Thank you.
I've got some questions also.
Thank you.
Mr. Chiplich is also signed up to speak. Would you like to speak, sir?
Sure.
Please, yes.
Sure. Chip Chiplich here. I've been going to Fowl River my whole life. As my wife said, we're currently building a house down there. And I question the need to spend, my understanding is it's going to be close to $2 million, $1.8 million. I don't know that it's going to be used that much, because I read in the paper that somebody said, well, people won't go to Dolphin, trailer their boats to Dolphin Island, they'd put them in there, but there's already a boat launch at the mouth of Fowl River, which is right by the bay. And it's not, you know, it's $5, and people will pay that before it'll be more in gas money to go from Memories to the bay than it was to launch at the mouth there. And, you know, I don't mean to undercut what my wife said, but I don't think the ramp's going to be used that much. So I think the county has better use for $1.8 million. So thank you very much.
And I think the news got two stories put together in that article, and I never try to correct the press. That's the worst thing to do. But what I was trying to emphasize is I've spent the last 7 years trying to make public access to the Gulf, and I started talking about the different places that we have looked as we want to pull pressure off of the island, and that got tied in with this. This was originally, when it was brought to us a very light motor, like there is right now, a small outboard motor. But part of the blue wave that, and I'm shaking my head at, we're going to hear more about it. We were trying to encourage kayakers and small boats is what we were trying to encourage there, not, 30-foot outriggers, and because we know that there's no way it can go through there, but this is going to come up. We're going to talk about it, and I appreciate your input. I've gotten emails obviously from 2 or 3, and the strange the environmental folks down there have really encouraged us to do this. So I'm a little confused. I've got a phone call in to them this morning, and I want to talk to them on why they feel like it's so important.
Let me ask, Commissioner, is there going to be any limit on the size of boats or the horsepower that can launch there? We truly haven't gotten there yet. Again, we're going to have this conversation when number 13 comes up, and I'm going to try to get some answers publicly, and I would like to do that. I don't know. We can't have somebody standing down there making sure that happens. But I understand the traffic on Fowl River. I have family on Fowl River, and they've grown up there the last 60 years, 70 years. Water skiing on Fowl River, and it's not what it used to be. I understand. But our focus was primarily on canoes, kayaks, some very light motor traffic, because I've been to Memories numerous times when they've had their yearly events and the kids catching the fish, and that's important stuff. Sure.
To me it is. So let's take the process a little further. Let's figure out exactly what we're going to do before we before we get there, because we need all the input we can get from people just like yourself. Hey, I appreciate it. I really do.
Well, if I could, have the commissioners heard from anyone that lives on Fowl River that's in favor of this?
Yes. There's been several. That's what I was saying, the environmentalist, which is headed by St. John. And I got a call into him this morning to find out why he feels like it would be such an important project. Because I want to know. I mean, he's called checking numerous times to see how this project's moving along, because it's been in the process for a year, maybe, or probably a little less than a year. So it's not something that's just come up. And until we announced it, that was the first negative thing that I had gotten, which I understand it. No one really knew what was going on, but we haven't been private about it, no means. We've been pretty public talking to folks about it.
I'm sorry, that was Sam St. John?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And I want to find out the environmental side, why they feel like it's an important venture. Maybe in their mind it's all canoe and kayak, and we're missing that, because we did talk about putting a canoe kayak there. If you've seen one over at five Rivers, they've got a nice one there. I'd love to do something like that, but let us push it on a little further, and I think you will either get some answers that you're looking for, or the outcome may be something that you can tolerate or even like.
And so, I would like to point out, it's a no-wake zone from where Memories is for about a half a mile down the river. I don't know if you've been to the camp.
Quite honestly, I've been to the camp. I haven't been on the water there.
Yeah.
I got an email inviting me to come down there. I'd love to do it.
Well, I'd be glad to take you myself, too.
I'll take you up on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chiplich.
Thank you. Mr. Barcliffe has let me know that Mrs. Goudreau no longer wishes to address you this morning, but we have Eddie Irby representing the Buffalo Soldiers who'd like to present an invitation to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Irby.
Good morning. My name is Eddie Irby, 1116 Richard Road, Mobile, Alabama 36616. I'll be very brief. I'll pass this out to the lady so she can give you a copy of it. But I would like to personally invite you to historic Oaklawn Memorial Cemetery on the 17th of this month. That cemetery, we were sent into it 1 year ago to find a half dozen Buffalo soldiers who they thought were buried in there. As of this morning, the total number of soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, Merchant Marines in there is 823. When we found out halfway there, in August, we sent a letter to the governor and the Alabama Historic Commission asking them to get the Attorney General to investigate why that place was overgrown and all those soldiers were basically thrown away. 1 week later, they sent a letter back and gave us a certification that we are on the historical list. Now you have a copy of the marker there. The marker was supposed to be sent on the 27th of last month. However, they sent it 3 weeks at a time. We already have it on the 13th of this month. The post will be done, and then the marker will be covered until the 17th. 15 minutes before I pulled into the parking lot out here, we just got a call from Ms. Hannah Garman. She is the head of the Alabama Historic Commission. She is going to come down here on the 16th because at the Saraland Hotel out there in Saraland, we have Buffalo soldiers, Tuskegee Airmen, men from the Red Ball Express, the 333rd Artillery Group, and the Triple Nickel all-black parachute group. These are original men from World War II. They are going to be there. We've contacted Saraland Police, Satsuma Police, Pritchard Police, Chickasaw Police, and Mobile PD, as well as the Alabama State Tribune to lead that caravan at the cemetery. Now, this program is only designed to last 38 minutes because when we sent the letter to the Alabama Historic Commission, we found there are 800 cemeteries in the state of Alabama. However, there were only 37 of them on the historical register in Alabama. We became number 38. And the reason why we are having this program on the 17th of April is because Captain Leon Roberts, born and raised in Pritchard, is buried in that cemetery, 35 feet behind the American flag there. And on that day in 1944, the 99th Fighter Squadron had just set history by coming in on that 400th sortie, and they had completed 2,592 runs. In his group was the only man in World War II with a P-51 airplane to shoot down a German jet. So I am personally off coming, and Ms. Ludgood, if you would, Ms. Gorman is going to be here a day ahead of time. We would invite you, all three of you, to come out to the hotel and ride back. Pastor McQueen has provided a bus for all our soldiers to get in, and as you can see, we have basic escort, as well as the Patriot Guard riders. There's 50 of them on motorcycles. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Irby. We appreciate you being here today to share this information, and the marker is just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Does that conclude our speakers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Hodge, if you will, please.
Okay. Number 1, approve the list of claims. 2, accept the grant. I'm sorry.
You thought you were in a
We'd
work
love
session,
to vote,
didn't
you know.
Go, man.
Let's start over.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Number 1,
So moved.
Second.
Number 2, accept a grant award from the Corporation for National and Community Service in the amount of $57,500 for continued funding of the Retired Senior MTR Program.
So moved.
Second.
Number 3, authorize advertisements for a comment period and notice of public hearing for the 2019 Year 5 Action Plan Entitlement Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Number 4, authorize extending term related to the professional service agreement dated June 21st, 2017 with JGBAG Inc. for home inspection services for 3 years.
So moved.
Second.
Number 5, approve contract with Town of Mount Vernon in the amount of $9,000 from District 1 funds to defray the cost of air conditioner repairs at Old Belsall School.
So moved.
Second.
Number 6, approve conditional real estate purchase agreement with JW Properties for the purchase of real property located at Michael Square Shopping Center, located on Azalea and South Michael Boulevard.
So moved.
Second.
Number 7, approve amendment to the home agreement previously approved in the May 9, 2018 minutes, agenda item number 29, with Athea House, Inc. to provide increased home funding of $20,000.
So moved.
Second.
Number 8, authorize advertisement for requests of qualifications for professional services related to the development and implementation of the Mobile County Community Resilience Public Information Program. This project is funded through the Mobile County GOMESA.
So moved.
Second.
Number 9, approve change number 2 with Wharton Smith, Inc. for project New Emergency Operations Center, the Emergency Management Agency. This will reduce the contract by $106,974.66 for unused. The new contract will be $10,477,025.34.
So moved.
Second.
Number 10, authorize advertising for bids, projects, fire alarm upgrades at various Mobile County facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Number 11, authorize advertisement for bids, tobacco tax office renovation at Bay Hayes Building.
So moved.
Second.
Number 12, award bid, replacement of hazardous backstop fencing at West Mobile County Park to Mobile Company, Inc. for the total bid in the amount of $36,903.
So moved.
Second.
Number 13, authorized purchase of approximately 1.7 acres of real property located at 4901 Fowl River Road, Theodore, Alabama, for the sum of $95,000.
Could we have some conversation on that before? Tina Sanchez is actually heading this project up. Tina, could you explain what the project's, what we're looking to actually do there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, pull the mic a little closer to you there. There you go.
So the agenda item before you is to consider authorizing a purchase agreement. Consider a purchase agreement, okay. Yes. This, as in the other acquisition that we talked about and you have authorized already, the Escatawpa Hollow, is to acquire these parcels to provide the public access to the shorelines and waterways of Alabama, in Mobile County. There's a sister, if you will, sister project to that, which is once we have acquired the public access points in existing parks like Chickasaw, we'll undertake a master planning process. So, and soon you'll see an agenda to award a contract to a firm. We've been soliciting proposals from firms to perform that master planning process, the needs assessment, community outreach, and the design of what improvements might need to be made. So we'll be moving forward after acquiring the parcel with a master plan, and we'll engage the citizens in a survey and some outreach meetings to determine what they'd like to see in their communities. So we've not, I'd say that what will be done at these locations is yet to be determined. What improvements we made is yet to be determined.
Okay. Do we have in these costs the canoe launch?
Pardon me?
Do we have in these costs a canoe launch, bathrooms?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the ramps going in and out of the water, are they going to be concrete?
Well, that's to be determined by those best practices that are identified through the consultant-led planning process.
Okay, have we talked anything about power boats, the issues of the sizes, or?
Not yet. One thing we have to keep in mind is that the existing uses there are small boats and paddling, and we'd be looking at what the best practices would be at that location, whether the physical conditions surrounding it would allow for larger boats, and I'm not sure it would.
But how would we enforce that?
By the improvements that we make. If we leave a sandy shoreline, fine, kayakers or paddlers would prefer, I understand, would prefer a sandy shoreline, then that would prohibit would not provide the facilities necessary for a large boat to put in there. So I think we could control that perhaps by the type of improvements that are made.
Well, and I understand their concerns, and I want to address them best we can. But in the way I feel like this is we've got to vote for it to see what's in it. In other words, we've got to purchase it and then figure out what to do with it.
Yes, sir.
And that bothers me a little bit.
I understand.
So at this point, I would suggest that we at least put it off to our next voting cycle, which would be 2 weeks, and give us more of a chance to look at it and figure out what we want to do from some email feedbacks and, excuse me, pro and con email feedbacks, and see what we can do. So commissioners,
Commissioner, I understand. I guess I just don't know that anything is going to be different in 2 weeks. We won't have the master plan back, and because of the process that we're envisioning provides for public input during that process. While we're doing it, we're going to hear from probably the Chiplets and the other people in that area who have concerns about what ought to happen there. So, but we can't do anything until we own it. And one of the problems we've had in trying to do this Blue Way, the kayak, is we're trying to identify more access points like you were talking about. So if we don't own this at the time that we start our master plan, then we really can't plan what we're going to do with it because it's not ours. And so that's, I just don't see, we could put it off, but I don't see anything that's going to be different, that we'll have any more information than we have right now, because we can't make any commitments around what we're going to do with this until the master plan input comes back.
Well, I've heard from the folks that don't want it. I have not heard from the folks that do want it, and those are the ones that I really want to reach out to. If the environmental groups that are led by Sam St. John in that area are actually for it, I would like to hear the reason why. That's what I want in the 2-week period. I know we can't do any planning, but we can at least talk about the parameters that we can hope to do some planning around. We can stop large boats from being launched there, and how do we do it? You just told us by using not pouring concrete and limiting but the parking bathroom is going to be an issue. It is now. The parking's an issue now. We may or may not have access to the parking lot across the street, or the parking facilities, I should say. So I still ask for 2 more weeks. We may not get any further, but I think it's worth at least letting me get some questions answered before we purchase another piece of property in the county's name.
Well, I'm agreeable to that. I would say that as we move forward with master planning and needs assessment, if you find that the community is opposed to certain types of use as far as boats that are launched, those can be limitations that are put into the master plan, so those would be taken off the table.
Yes, ma'am.
As you move forward.
All right, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tina.
We're holding it over.
Thank you.
Hold it over.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Number 14, approve investment purchases of county funds by the treasurer for March 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Number 15, approve work order number 14 relating to master service agreement with Information Transport Solutions in a total amount of $66,802.41.
So moved.
Second.
Can I point something out here? This will bring us into the 21st century. We'll be able to do arraignments without transporting these prisoners to and from the building. We're spending a lot of time and money and resources and just transport. Now we can, with this, we'll be able to do it from the judge's chambers via directly to the prison. So we are joining the 21st century here. I appreciate your work on that.
Number 16, authorize amendment to the cooperative agreements with Mobile County municipalities who wish to remain part of the Urban County Consortium, and authorize the County Commission President to execute all documents.
So moved.
Second.
17, authorize entering into a cooperative agreements with municipalities that wish to join the HUD Entitlement Urban County Consortium, and authorize the Commission President to execute all documents.
So moved.
Second.
Number 18, authorize County Commission President to seek the renewal of urban county entitlement status with HUD.
So moved.
Second.
Number 19, authorize Commission President to apply as an urban county for the Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Number 20, approve agreement with Kimberly C. Bonner, PRIA consultant for performance of PRIA audit at Strickland Youth Center in the amount of $3,500.
So moved.
Second.
21, adopt a resolution authorizing request of the Sheriff's Office to dispose of certain items.
So moved.
Second.
22, to consider taking the following actions on bids.
So moved.
Second.
23, approve contract with the City of Ballabhatrie in an amount of $3,000 from District 3 funds for field maintenance.
So moved.
Second.
24, approve a memorandum of understanding with the town of Mount Vernon for the use of barricades for its Thunder on the River on April 27, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
25, approve a memorandum of understanding with the town of Mount Vernon for use of barricades for its Blues on the River event on August 17, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
26 and 27 were held over. '28, approve residential lease agreement with Larry Goffrey and Janet Goffrey as lessees of the real property located at 1551 Moffett Road, Wilmer, Alabama, for $900 per month on a month-to-month basis.
So moved.
Second.
29, approve purchase of 2 Cisco Catalyst fiber switches and 2 Catalyst pole switches through state contract for the total amount of $37,185.12 from the Sheriff's Office forfeiture funds.
So moved.
Second.
31 rolled over. 32, recommend authorize acquisition of property and acceptance of right-of-way deeds and easements from the following property owners.
So moved.
Second.
33, recommend a signed contract for professional engineering design and construction inspection services, waterline relocations on Marcus Circle East and Marcus Circle West, and St. Nicholas Drive East, St. Nicholas Drive North, and St. Nicholas Drive West to Driven Engineering, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
34, recommend approve supplemental agreement, number 1, with Bico Haney Construction, Inc., County Farm Road fencing to increase the contract by $3,333.30.
So moved.
Second.
35, recommend improvement amendment, number 1, to CE&I agreement with Volker, Inc. for Aladot Project, Lot Road from Beverly Jeffries Highway to Brown Blankenship Road, increasing the total amount paid to Volker by $60,145.04.
So moved.
Second.
36, recommend way and easement agreement for Track 3 in amount of $8,977, in amount of $24,130, and Track 21 in amount of $100 for Dawes Road.
So moved.
Second.
37, recommend approve right-of-way and/or easement agreement Track 2 in amount of $2,192 for Boottown Road.
So moved.
Second.
38, recommend approve right-of-way and/or easement agreement for Track 10 in amount of $5,480 for Dawes Road.
So moved.
Second.
39, recommend approve right-of-way and/or easement agreement for Track 21 in the amount of $500 for Joe Carl Road South and Joe Carl Road West and Old Military Road.
So moved.
Second.
Number 40, recommend approve fabricating a sign for Cleveland A. Flott Community Center. The estimate cost is $74.29.
So moved.
Second.
41, consider waiving Section 4.43 of Mobile County Subdivision Regulation, minimum building setback line along an unopened right-of-way, and approving preliminary and final plat for Roderick Emily Division.
So moved.
Second.
42, recommend approving preliminary and final plat of re-subdivision of Lot B, a re-subdivision of Lot 1, Skyview Point.
So moved.
Second.
And 43, commission announcements and/or comments.
Leslie Green.
I would like to ask everyone to please keep Deborah McCarroll's family in your prayers. Deborah is the district administrator for Commissioner Ludgood in District 1, and her father passed away. I understand this in Mr. Leslie Green. If you would please keep him in your prayers. And also, we have a list of retirees that we'd like to congratulate. They are retiring as of April 1st, and we have or is it the end of April? Is it April 1st? April 1st, okay. We have Eliza James, who's been with Metro Jail 14 years, David Phillips with the Sheriff's Department for 26 years, David Robinson from the Board of Equalization, 16 years, and James Bradford at Camp 98, 27 years. And we would like to wish them all the very best in their next chapter and thank them for their service and dedication to the citizens of Mobile County. And with that, that's it. We are ready.
44, approve a request for a motion to adjourn until April 23rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
We stand adjourned.